is your passion? What is a passion what you haven't acted on? And why haven't you acted on it? That's what we talked about. And we is Terry Thompson, together with Bunny in Unbreakable Stories, which was live just now on, I think, Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. And Alain was there, Peter was there, Mariella was there, so that was really cool. And well, one of the things is when it comes to tech, I was trying to figure out certain tech. So a while ago, I got this Zoom microphone and a Zoom headphone, but I hadn't used it yet. So just recently, I actually got these headphones, and the reason I got these headphones was just because they're cool. They're from Marshall, and I liked it, but I didn't really have a use for it just yet until I bought this microphone right here. And I'm not going to lift it because I just did, and then everything went haywire. So that's not a good thing. But it's a Samsung satellite, and it's got a USB port, and it can be plugged into the iPhone, which is kind of cool. So I was like, I want to test it. So they said, plug in your headphones so you can actually monitor what you're hearing. Well, I'm not hearing anything other than my normal voice, and I don't think I actually hear it over the phone, so the headphones, so maybe it makes a difference when someone else is on there too, but the whole goal was to see if I can get something recorded using live StreamYard, and then when the clicking starts, I can actually hear that. So I didn't just buy this microphone. I also bought some other stuff, including an Aerocaster from Roland. Well, I'm passionate about tech stuff when I understand how it works. Let's be clear about that. When I know how it works. So just to give you a little clue, I always have been into the cameras from smartphones, but also in the normal cameras. So for one, I've got a Zoom camera here, which you can use to record music videos, concerts. So let me unwrap it for a sec. So this baby has the possibility to actually, let me see if I can show you without ruining everything. Yeah, here. So you can put XLR cables in there, which are attached either to the soundboard or to microphones or whatever you're recording. So that Zoom microphone I bought could be put in here. And the good thing here is when there's a lot of volume involved, which usually happens when you go to a metal concert, that's when they don't immediately crash the sound, which a normal camera, of course, would. So, do you remember back in the days? Back in the days, we didn't have any mobile phones. I remember, back in the days, you started having something like satellite phones, but not the mobile phones. And we got those at work. And then I figured out, hey, that's cool, there's a camera on it. And the Nokias always had the best cameras. So then I started buying those Nokias. And then at some point, I switched to iPhone. And now they have night vision on the iPhone, which is pretty cool. And nowadays I try to basically get all the stuff I can use combined with the iPhone or the iPad. And just recently I got myself a MacBook too. Well, it sounds all a little bit easier than it actually is, because the latest iPads don't have a lightning connector anymore. They have a what do they call it, a USB connector. Let's see, I've got two LED lights actually, but I don't know where the other one is. It probably dropped somewhere, or I had to, oh, here it is. I had to charge it. Not sure if I actually charged it. Let's see. So when I bought this cool microphone I'm using now, you see, I still need to charge it. So these are the LED lights. I thought, well, if I have an adapter of some kind, then I probably can use it on the iPad too. So I bought this cable, and then I realized it said USB-C to Lightning, and it needs to go from Lightning to USB-C. It's, I'm not that tech savvy that I know all these things. I know I have to pay attention to data transfer, to audio, all that stuff. But this was a new thing to me, so I haven't been able to use it on the iPad, which was a little bit sad. But I'm recording a lot on my iPhone anyway, especially when I go live on Instagram. So it's cool, it's good. But I am curious now. Like, okay, so if I were to go on StreamYard Live, would I hear the tick 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 tick, which I don't like. So that's one thing. So something else I did is, if you see this is part of a Lego. This is part of Lego. So I built this bonsai tree, and the bonsai tree is embedded in a pot, and then it's on some sort of wooden tray. Well, of course it's plastic, hard plastic, but you get the drift. And well, you can take these out. And then I was like, oh, that's nice. Now I have something to put my iPhone on, and to patch the cable through, which is connected to the Lightning. I want to say the Lightning gate, but that's not the right word. But where you plug in the Lightning cable. So I'm very creative, I guess. If you talk about me being passionate about stuff, and then there's anything creative, probably. Anyway, getting back to the whole passion thing, there are a lot of things I haven't acted on, especially when it comes to all the tech stuff, because I do not know how to do them. So I look at it, and then it's, I'm missing something. And it's just like with this microphone. So now I can use it for the iPhone. I'm supposed to be able to use it for all the other stuff. But I also got this very cool Zoom device. It's an AMS24, if correct. It's only this big. Yeah, I really had a blast, during the whole Black Friday thing. And you can take it with you, and then I can use it basically to record stuff on the iPhone and on the iPad, but you cannot connect it to the MacBook, because then you need a DAW, a DAW. So, the whole thing with audio interfaces, it's one of those things that I underestimated. I mean, I learned to play the piano on an actual piano, a wooden piano with actual strings in there. And then at some point we got the synthesizers, which had the speakers in there. And then you had the keyboards, and then all of a sudden there were MIDI keyboards, and then they didn't give any sound. And then, I need something else too. So that's when those DAWs came into the picture, like Focusrite DAWs, and it was like, okay, I need to plug it in somewhere in order to do something. Of course, I was IQ Multimedia and iRig, which helped a lot. But oh my God, the amount of trouble I had to go through, and before I understood, okay, I need the app like GarageBand in order to get things done. So yeah, I do have several things, also things which could help me possibly to create music, which Terry and I were talking about. I got this, it's a pad from Novation. It's called differently, but it has all these different pads on there with rows and everything. And you can start by either creating your own rhythm, or you can start by hitting a note like a bass, and then you tap it so that a certain rhythm starts to come into existence. Yeah, I do play drums. And then you can use all the other ones to either use drums or put other chords on top of it, and I noticed that actually that's a very easy way to become very creative and get a tune out there. But there it is again, connection and all that stuff. So I put it somewhere and I forgot about it until Terry said something about it today. But it's one of those passions that I do believe I have. I'm certain I have. I just haven't acted on it because to a degree, I understand technical stuff, but also not to the degree that it's easy, because I'm not that technical. So that makes it a little bit challenging, I suppose. Challenging. But right now, since I haven't been live for a long time, I decided I want to test out this microphone and see if it makes any difference. And also, having bought all those things, I want it to work. This little baby, it's not that big, and the tripod, I can actually just put them back up, so they're part of the stand of the microphone, which is kind of cool. So I can fold them back into the microphone. So I didn't want a very big thing to take with me. And I'm not sure, I don't think I need a pop filter on there, but I probably would have to try it, because I do have a pop filter on the other side of the wall where I had planned on building this studio. And, well, basically it's been blocked by other stuff. So that's the main challenge. Also to get there, to get to the good stuff. But yeah, it's actually kind of cool to be using all of this. And now I have to figure out what I can use on which device and how it works best. Because I have been using a lot of microphones in the last few months. So, I'm sorry, I'm a little bit tired. So, I use a Aeropax. It's what is it called? It's a boneless head conductor. And I love the thing. It doesn't produce a lot of bass. That's the down thing. But other than that, it's a really great thing to be using, because it's not in the ears, it's above the ears on the bone, and well, I still can hear everything around me, and I can hear what actually that thing is letting through. But when I record, so it does record sound better than just iPhone. As far as I can tell, I've actually used it at concerts too. Although the microphone from the iPhone is pretty good, I have to admit that too. But at some point it can be distorted. So usually when I go live on Instagram, I use those things from Soundcore. But again, there seemed to be some sort of distortion on there, so that's why I haven't used them for a while. And yeah, I don't use them outside, because I try to avoid as much direct sound on my eardrums if I can avoid it. And basically because I have been wearing a headphone for, hey, Ida, for almost 2 years. That basically sort of shattered my eardrums. Ida, we as in Terry and Bonnie and Peter and Mariella, we talked about passion, and I'm not sure if you have something to share about passion, but we ended with the question, are there things you are passionate about what you are not acting on. And that's what I'm talking about right now, what she has to do with the whole technical stuff, taking things to the next level. Anyway, the whole microphone thing and why I've been, exploring different microphones, starting with the easy things, including those earpieces I just showed you from Soundcore. They had to do with going somewhere, sitting in Starbucks and seeing if it was possible to get good sound despite music playing. When I was in Chicago, just before I went there, Drew, I don't know what your last name is. I have no clue. But Drew knows who he is. Drew is one of the tech guys who helps out Evan Carmichael. And Drew said, you need to get the DJI, which I did. And I was in luck because it took a while before it would get there, actually. But they had a returned version. So I decided to get that one. It was in the box and everything. They tested it. It worked. So I was like, okay, let's go try the DJI. And of course, the first time around, I didn't get it the way it should because with all the lightning connectors, you need to know where to plug it in and how to plug it in. And like I said, when it's not done immediately, I need to figure it out again and again until but now I've got it. So I used it when I was in Chicago together with Cheeky Joe, and that was quite cool. So she could be somewhere else, and I could be in front of the camera, or we would be together, and we had it literally under our shirts right here. So there was this little magnetic thing, which you can attach it to, and then actually the microphone is on the other side, so that that way I didn't have to use the dead cat. So that's basically this thing, which protects against the wind and all that stuff. I didn't have to put it on there because that was a little bit, it was not the easiest thing to do. And, my coordination can be a little bit off at times. So I was like, if I can avoid that, that's all the better. And I had a blast recording the videos, and it was quite good sound, actually. So it was but yeah, if I'm going to use it and I'm going to go live when I'm inside, does that make any sense? And also, I still need headphones in order to hear what other people are saying to me. Because the people started talking to me when I was live on Instagram, and I was like, yeah, that's nice that you're doing it, but I can't hear you. So, yeah. So now I've been really going for it. And, the cool thing is I can actually tell people about it too, explain a thing or two. So I guess that's a good thing, because I cannot be the only one who's wondering about all this stuff, who want to go live, do it with decent sound and actually get it out there. So I think that when it comes to passion, figuring out how things work and to get it to the next level, that's something I really love to do. I mean, I love going live. I love going here on Instagram. I love getting a good image out there, editing the whole lot. Usually I make it a little vintage. I don't know if you've noticed. So when I go here on Instagram, I've got the cat from these stars. My tattoo artist is not willing to put it on there, although he did say that he's willing to draw some on there and then let me walk around with it for a week. And if I still like it, he's willing to tattoo them on the side of my face. Yeah, and like I said, when it comes to videos, normally you can recognize my video, even if it's just for the whole vintage look, because I love the whole vintage look. And if I do believe it's very important. I also include the little icon from me when you see me with the blue hair and the earpiece in my ear and the one crutch, referring to when I was still walking with crutches, which I almost did again last week because I do have some trouble walking because I made a move I shouldn't have made. But well, that's trying to improve, and then sometimes, certain boundaries, you run into certain boundaries and it's not going the way you want to. But anyway, if you're watching this, then I've got the same question for you that I started with. And that's the question: what are you passionate about? And what's the thing you're passionate about that you are not acting on? And why is that? Well, let me know. And leave a comment about it. I also have something else in the works, which is a challenge. It's the cleanup challenge, which is related to having been in Chicago and now being back here. This room is filled with a bunch of stuff, which you can see when I'm on StreamYard. Fortunately, you cannot see it right now. I need to get rid of it, sort it out. But you know, it takes up a lot of time, and it basically is also the result of my mom passing away 2 years ago almost now, and this year the house was sold, so a lot of stuff was transferred here because I couldn't get rid of it emotionally back then. But anyway, I want to get it, you know, so I've got a decent overview. I can put my home studio in here. Like I said, I created something on the other side of the wall, but quite honestly, it's a bit cold there right now. It's also a bit dark. So I'm like sorting out where do I sit best. And so for a while I sat on the other wall, which was nice because then you couldn't see the mess. But what was not so nice was the lighting, and the lighting is way better now. I'm sitting in front of the window. So, well, I have to figure out what is going to work best, and that's what I'm certainly going to do. And like I said, I am passionate about the whole tech thing when it comes to sharing stories and recording videos. By the way, I am also passionate about taking pictures. And now I'm going to see how I can do this best with all the various equipment that I got. And going back to the challenge, it's almost 4 a.m, so I'm a little bit tired, but I'm also a little bit hyped because of the whole life with Terry. I'm trying to avoid saying the and all that stuff, and I'm doing it all the time. But getting back to the challenge, yes, that was what I was talking about. When we were in Chicago, it was also organized. I shared a room with Cheeky Joe, and even though she did end up... Okay, well, I'll let her tell that story herself. And if you're curious, well, ask her. I don't think she'll mind telling it, but you know, we were supposed to go live together ever since we returned from Chicago, which was the end of September, beginning of October, but she got really ill, so she lost her voice and all that stuff, so she couldn't go live. So we've been waiting, both of us, until we could go live together. Anyway, getting back to the challenge, I realized that I wanted some new routines. I needed some new routines, and I am starting to implement some new routines basically because of Chicago, because it was quite nice, the routines I experienced over there. So the cleanup challenge has to do with what do you want to achieve and what do you need or want to let go of in order to achieve your goals, whether they're new goals or not. And sometimes it has to do with routines. It can be about friends. It can be about habits. But that's the one thing I'm going to do, and I think I'm going to do it. We are going towards Christmas. So over here in the Netherlands, we still have St. Nicholas. Well, that's actually for the kids. But it would be nice to actually do the challenge prior to Christmas or in between Christmas and New Year's Eve. I'm not sure yet. I do know that now that it's Christmas, we get a lot of stuff in our homes